Awesome.
Hello everyone, and welcome on Cohere Thanksgiving winner announcement. And right now we are jumping into winner announcement stream, where we will present top five projects. And yeah, welcome everyone. So this hackathon was pretty successful as we had 56 teams participants, and at the end we got 17 projects submitted. So it was such a crazy and productive 48 hours building on LabLab AI. So what is LabLab? LabLab is a platform designed to support and stimulate modern AI ecosystem and all the innovators behind. So welcome Matthias on the stage to talk a bit more about new native and actually LabLab AI platform as one of founders. So welcome,
Yes.
Matthias.
What we want to do is stimulate a modern AI ecosystem, and we do that by basically identifying and curating technologies that we see big potential in, and that we believe will become building blocks of applications getting created today and kind of future on. And we are super happy to work with organizations such as Cohere that are one of the leaders in the space and have really impressive suite of tools around generative AI. So anyone that are here today that haven't tried out Cohere yet, I really recommend you to go in and check out the things they have to offer. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say around this. I hope to see everyone that are attending the stream today to come and attend future hackathons with us. We have the next Cohere hackathon that is upcoming this weekend, actually. So please join that one.
Yes, and today with us we have Sandra Kublik, who is a relationships developer at Cohere. So, hello, Sandra. We are so happy to have you here today, and maybe a few words from your side.
Sure. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So, welcome everybody. I'm Sandra. I'm looking after community at Cohere. We are building large language models and building an API around them so that anyone, anywhere, without any knowledge about AI could use them and supercharge their applications and products. And we are super thrilled to partner with LabLab on the hackathon and on the upcoming ones. And I cannot wait to see the demos that were made during the Thanksgiving event. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I guess we can start with presenting top five projects which were built by our participants. So, top 5 projects. The first project was a project called Taldera, made by team Close AI Decepticons. I hope I pronounced it well.
Hi everyone, we're Team Close AI Decepticons, and for the Cohere Thanksgiving Hackathon, we developed Taldera. Taldera is a summarizer bot for missed activity, i.e. a TLDR, for your Discord channels. The problem that we're tackling is information overload in online messaging services. Now, messenger apps have channels where multiple parties can send hundreds of texts daily. You can think like Discord and Slack, but speaking through personal experience, we use Discord all the time, but there are times when we get offline. And when we try to get back online, you can easily lose track of what's been going on in conversations. Sometimes you have to scroll through hundreds or even thousands of text messages. And right now, there isn't a quick and accessible way to figure things out. And our solution to that is Taldera. Taldera is a Discord bot which allows you to see a quick bulleted summary of Discord activity with links to where that activity happened. It allows you to gain semantic understanding, that is, understanding what actually happened in context. Here's a more involved systems diagram. It starts at the middle left, so the user will send a command to our bot, which is controlled via the Discord.js API. Then the bot will scan a particular channel. It does ETL to extract the message history, reformat it optimally for a large language model, and then convert the history into chunks. That way you can get timestamps, and you also don't generalize too much from the conversation. Next, there's a language model. That's 2 parts. So one is a pre-trained generate endpoint from the Cohere API, and the second is our own fine-tuning. We use something called the Samsung corpus dataset that has around 16,000 instances of messenger-like conversations with summaries provided. We use that, and then from our model, for each chunk of the message history, we are able to receive summarized text with rich semantics. After that, we have to do different prettifying techniques to summarize the text, and then once we're done with that, we send the output to the user.
Here we can see Taldera bot in action. Let's say that you came back to a chat channel and there has been a conversation going on, but you don't really want to read all of the messages to understand what people have been talking about. This is a fairly hard problem to solve. However, with Taldera bot, we are able to directly summarize some of these messages so that you can easily understand what has been going on. Let's just say that we want to summarize the past 100 messages. We can call the summarize command and set length to 100 messages. Discord.js would then query the past 100 messages, compile them into a string format that our trained Cohere model can understand, and then using the Cohere model generate endpoint, we're able to generate summaries for each chunk that has been processed. Now we get an output embedded with all of the summaries as well as the timestamps of different chunks of the conversation. Let's say that we wanted to see where some of these conversations had started and we really want to understand what people have been talking about. We can click on one of these links, and this would link us to the first message that it processed in the conversation, and we can continue reading as such. Some other functionalities that we can do with Taldera is query all of the messages from a certain time onwards. So let's say that we wanted to get all of the messages and summarize them from 5 hours beforehand to now. We could do summarize from, and then using NLP, we can input a phrase. So we could say 5 hours ago, and it would take all the messages from 5 hours ago to summarize. Just for speed purposes, we will be speeding up this part of the recording. All right, here's our summary, and we can see that it has successfully created summaries as well as all the timestamps since 5 hours ago. Additionally, if there are a lot of summaries that are generated, we can parse through them through pagination. Finally, if we wanted our output to be in different formats, such as direct text or in a TXT file, we can do so by selecting the format that we summarize in. Send those in, it will gather the 1 to 50 messages and start summarizing them in chunks of 20 and output them in a TXT file. This will again be sped up for demonstration purposes. Here we can see that the text file has outputted, and we can see all of the summarizations as well as the timestamps. This way you can download this information if you wanted to put it into another text parser.
When it comes to turning this hackathon project into a business, there are a couple things we can do. So in terms of revenue channels, we have identified 2 streams. The first is business to business. That would be providing our service to messaging services directly so they can provide that summarization. And the second would be business to customer, where we'd be providing this bot as a service to server owners who may want to have that functionality for their users. When it comes to the go-to-market, we'd start by piloting with smaller servers at zero cost, and that would allow us to validate our implementation pretty rigorously while getting user feedback. When it comes to operating costs, the only real operating cost is needed to maintain the server, which is pretty minimal. And then, in terms of revenue streams, for B2B, we'd be licensing to the businesses directly. And then for B2C, for the server owners, we'd be providing a freemium model where we add extra services at a cost. Now, there are many avenues for next steps. First of all, there are many limitations with our model. First is having more human dialogue, handling edge cases like slang, and then our dataset, which isn't trained too well on multi-agent responses, like having more than 3 people talking. We'd also want to implement additional features like extracting semantic info for image embeddings, modeling key topics, providing richer graphical output for the summarizations, and then also support for Discord VCs and video links. We want to do pretty rigorous customer discovery and validation to really figure out the best part of the value chain, either B2B or B2C, and our best beachhead market that will allow us to scale rapidly. And our ultimate vision of this is to have it be a general purpose summarization tool which can be used for any messaging service and not just Discord. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Hi, my name is Vikram. I was on Close AI Decepticons. Our project was Taldera, so I'm not sure if you saw earlier, but the main problem we're tackling is information overload, especially in online messaging services. So you could think like Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. Um, if you decide to go offline and your friends are chatting a lot, and then you decide to come back online, one of the big issues is that there's now hundreds of messages you'll have to scroll through to really summarize it. So we built a solution for that. Taldera is a summarizer bot for Discord messages or Discord channels. And we have a systems diagram that you could check if you go to our presentation link. But essentially, there are 2 parts to our system. So first is we use a Cohere endpoint. So we've trained that endpoint on a data set of pretty much a bunch of like messenger conversations, and we use that to summarize Discord VC activity. And then second would be the Discord JS API, which we use to gather message data, split it into chunks, summarize, and then make it all pretty for the user. That's primarily what we worked on. Beyond that, we think there's a pretty important business case because it can be applied to, let's say, if like you're the manager of a company, the mod of a Discord server. For the messaging services themselves, you could apply this to them. So we thought there were a lot of relevant applications, and proud of what we were able to build in this amount of time.
Now we get an output embedded with all of the summaries as well as the timestamps of different chunks of the conversation. Let's say that we wanted to see where some of these
Thank you for presenting your project for us. And it sounds really cool because summarizing and making everything actually, like to spend less time right now is one of the main ideas of building everything. And it's so really nice to have you here today with us. Have you built this project by yourself, or do you have like few members in a team?
I have 2 other team members who aren't here right now.
And my personal question will be later on. Like Sandra and Matthias will ask questions, of course, but when the lights will go down, like what's after hackathon? Do you see kind of the future for your project?
I think there is a future. I think if we were to, like, the 3 of us are working on a separate project as well that has to do with NLP. When it comes to the future of this, I think we'd have to evaluate how much better we could do because a lot of the issues are on the engineering side, right? Like trying to figure out how to work better for conversations that have, more than 3 people talking because this data set is more fine-tuned to 2-person conversations. So I think if we're a bit more clear on like the engineering challenges, then yeah, I do see a use case on us like continuing to iterate on this and also piloting it with smaller Discord servers.
Yeah, thanks for answer. So Matthias, Sandra, feel free to ask questions.
I am super impressed by Taldera. We all loved it at Cohere. We were looking at it as a whole team, and really it struck the chord with us. Part of the reason is because, as I mentioned, answering Matthias's question, we get a lot of queries from users interested in summarizing stuff. So I think there's so much potential for products that are targeting summarization in general, whether it's summarization of messages, summarization of emails, summarization of reports, etc., etc. So I think you're really definitely in the right space, and I would encourage you to continue to work on the project. And the second reason is that we are super active on Discord. This is our heart of our Cohere community, and there's a lot of conversation going on daily, and a lot of our even Cohere members are trying to catch up with what's going on, what's being said. And a tool like this, especially for Discord, where there's a lot of chit chat going, is super helpful. So I would encourage you definitely to talk with me afterwards to see how we can deploy it on our Discord, because I think people would love using it there, and also you will get more exposure into your product. And continue working on it, because I think it's awesome and it's very much needed, which we are an example of. Yeah, that was me. One question, I guess, why did you decide to go for like Discord and Slack? You couldn't make up your mind, or like you were like done with one and then started working on another? How did that come about?
Oh, like earlier when I mentioned like Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, I was referring like just generally to different messaging services. This product that we've built is meant for Discord messages right now, but I think the same framework could be extended to really any messaging service with multiple people.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. So again, it was great to take a look at your project, and I would love to work with you on how we can take it further.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, great product, and I'm looking forward to see where you guys up here in the finance.
Thanks.
We are Team Code Dreamers, consisting of me, Partho, and my friend Richard. And the project we worked on for this hackathon is called Perfect Present. Imagine your friend's birthday is coming up and you need to get a gift for him. You know how much he enjoys cooking, so if you manage to give him a gift related to that, then that would be awesome. He would be really happy. But unfortunately for you, you know very little about cooking and don't know what to give him. We sometimes struggle finding the ideal gift for someone, but maybe an AI could help us with this. That's where large language models come into play. Since a lot of this is common knowledge, so a model trained on lots and lots of text can have a pretty good understanding of a suitable gift for a person with interest in cooking. The app takes details of a person like their age, gender, and interest, and then engineers a prompt based on it to provide context to the text generation model on how to provide gift suggestions for that. And then from the generated text output of the model, we get a list of gift suggestions and display that to the end user. The front-end interface of the app is made using Streamlit, and the backend connects to Cohere's Generate API for text generation. Let's see it in action. Let's write the interest as cooking. Select an gender, set an age, and suggest. So you could see it comes up with a few suggestions, and if we press suggest again, it could come up with a new set of suggestions. And if we change the interest to someone with the interest in space and change the gender, select age and press suggest. So you could see it comes up with a set of suggestions for that person. What if the person is a little girl with interest in Marvel? Let's select the appropriate parameters and press suggest. So you could see it comes up with a few suggestions, which I think would make the girl really happy. So how does that work? So we take the inputs from the user, the details of the person through the Streamlit interface, and then we engineer a prompt so that we can provide the context to the text generation model on how to generate gift suggestions and pass that to the Cohere generate API. And then from the text output of the model, we format that and turn them into a list of gift suggestions that could lead to a potential gift. For the future, we would like to add Amazon affiliate links for the suggestions to fund the project, research more about prompt engineering, and create better context prompts to improve the suggestions of the model, and adding more factors for the user to control, like occasion, so that leads to a more personalized gift suggestion.
Welcome, Team Code Dreamers. You can tell us briefly about your project called Perfect Present.
The basic idea for this project is we are like using these large language models to suggest gifts. So like these large language models are trained on lots and lots of text. So we are using that capability of these large language models in suggesting gifts. So we take the input. So we take the details of a person. And then we engineer a prompt based on it so that we can provide context to the generation model on how to generate the gift suggestions, and so then we are like generating the gift suggestions from that. uh,
Okay, I can start. First of all, thanks so much for working on this. I love the idea. I love that it's in the spirit of Thanksgiving, and
yeah.
also sort of in the spirit of upcoming Christmas. So we're able to generate some fun stuff for the close ones. I wanted to ask you, what were the what what were the key things that you focused on in terms of the information that you need to gather to create the perfect present, and why you focused on those?
Yeah, so we are taking three inputs for the person. Like there is age, there is gender, and the interest. Like the main thing would be the interest part, because that decides a lot on the gift we would be suggesting. So, and there is the age part. So like so if it's a kid of like 9 years old and he has an interest in cooking, so maybe we could, instead of like giving him a set of professional knives, we would suggest a gift like a toy kitchen set, something like that. And like if it's a 32-year-old man who is interested in cooking, we would give him something like a professional cooking, a professional knife set. And yeah, so uh, yeah, I think these three uh, inputs were for this time. Like we are thinking of expanding the inputs. Like we are thinking of adding things like occasion. So we could, it's a birthday or something like Thanksgiving, or also budget, because these language models are trained on such a vast corpus of text. So they I experimented with this, and they have like a quite a good notion of suggesting gifts within a set budget. So yeah, that works. So yeah, we are excited to like maybe add that to in the future to the project.
That sounds very cool, and smart use of the data, the inputs that you're focusing on. Nicely
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, maybe Matthias, you can also add something, or we can jump into next team presentation.
Yeah, Pavel, do you have a question? Maybe I was running around here trying to get some technology to work.
Sorry, I think I missed that.
Pavel, we can't hear you barely.
Okay,
No
let me ask. I would love to know. So two things. So what? So first of all, like what endpoints from Cohere did you use in your application? Um, and second of all, like what was the experience building with Cohere's?
Uh, right. So for this we are using the generate API. Like we are using that, and yeah, like I personally before this hackathon, I knew about Cohere and I knew what they were doing with the API, but I never got the chance to use their API. But it seemed pretty straightforward. So yeah. We use the generate API, and this thing is really pretty straightforward. There are a few parameters to check with, and the prompt engineering part. Like I for this project I researched on the prompt engineering part. Like I read a blog post and look up through the documentation on how the different parameters, what changes that makes to the results. And I learned quite a bit about prompt engineering from this. And yeah, it was a good experience. I'd say learning experience for this from this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the answers and good luck in the finals.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. That's Sparta from Team Code Dreamers, and I think we're ready to jump into next team.
And
This
you hear me now?
Yes, now we
Yes.
can.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I do have one question though, very, very quickly. So I really like the approach of kind of being able to send and gift somebody something, right? So I think that's really a great idea. And I've seen apps coming up right now, super simple apps that will allow you to say to somebody like, okay, send them a poem, yeah, or send them a very nice little note about how I feel about them today, right? And I think this is like, where do you want to take this? Like, what's the natural next step for this kind of application in the future? Like, it's super easy to connect to, let's say, Amazon, right? And kind of, okay, pick a gift and send it out, right? And you take a little bit of a commission. Like, what's the business model that you are thinking about?
Yeah, so like a few things that I mentioned in the presentation. So we are like thinking of like adding for funding the project. We are thinking of like adding Amazon affiliate links for the suggestions. So yeah, that could fund the project. And yeah, integrating this with other softwares like Amazon Alexa. Like you could just talk with your preferred voice assistant. Like I have a cousin, she's 9 year old and she's like super into Disney. So yeah, suggest a gift for her for Thanksgiving. And yeah, that's something interesting to look into for the future.
Definitely, you should definitely look at releasing this before Christmas and kind of allowing kids to pick something for their parents or parents to pick something for their kids, something super simple. But I really love the idea because I have a tremendous trouble always picking out gifts. I'm notorious for picking bad gifts and giving bad gifts to everybody. So I will definitely use this Christmas to figure out my shopping list. So congrats on the idea. It's very sticky.
Yeah,
It's going
sure.
to be very, very sticky.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, totally agree with Paul. So yeah, thanks again, and wish you great luck with that to make the project go after actually we stopped the hackathon. So yeah, we go to project number 4, and it's Verify AI and Team Thanksgivers. So welcome on a stage. Hello, hello.
Welcome to Cohere's Thanksgiving Hackathon, hosted by LabLabI. We are Team Thanksgivers, and today we are going to present you our project Verify. This is our team. We have Isaac, Mario, and myself, Tensai. It's known that fake news and misinformation are problems that we face daily as a digital society, even though a lot of people say that they use the internet as their main source of news. Only few percentage of the populations are very confident in their ability to detect fake news. Fact-checking organizations recommend the following guideline in order to spot a fake news. As you can see, the guideline mentions a lot of things to check before saying that a given news is fake or real. And it's not an easy task to remember all these tasks whenever you read a news. So we brought you a tool which will automate this process. That tool is Verify. Verify is AI-powered browser extension that detects claim being made by a news. It checks if the claim has been verified by fact checkers, and it will let you the result. It also verifies the credibility of the website and the author that you are reading from. In order to do this, we have used two Cohere endpoints. We used generate endpoint in order to detect the claims. That means we used the generate endpoint as claim detection model. We have fine-tuned it with 32 examples of articles and claim pairs that we collected from fact-checking organization. We have also used embed endpoint in order to create a custom semantic search engine in order to search news claims. We have created the semantic search engine with 1 year of verified news claim data that we collected from fact-checking organization. The rest of the presentation will be presented by my teammate Isaac. Thank you.
Okay, so now to give you a quick overview of how the Chrome extension works. The first step is that the user loads a news web article, and you open the Chrome extension, you click on the verify button, and that will trigger a query to our backend where we first extract the text from the web article and take that as an input for the Cohere generate service or endpoint where we generate a claim, or which is the main claim of the article, and then we embed, again with Cohere, we embed the claim in an embedding space, and we search for this embedding in our embedding store where we have already stored a lot of claims that were classified by humans as false or fake. And if we find any claim that's very similar to the one that we are analyzing, we return that claim in the result and show it to the user to let the user know if the web article that he or she is reading might contain false claims. So now let me show a little demo of how that works. So here I already have prepared a news article. I open the Chrome extension, I click on verify, and then it will start processing the article, and it should take some time. And here we can see the already result. We can get the authors of the news article, who wrote the article, when it was published, and in this case it didn't find any claim that matched our database of false or fake claims. So it's pretty straightforward, and so yeah, if you want to try it, we have here the instructions. You have to click on the developer mode to activate that, and you have to click on the load unpacked button and download the zip file to upload it as a Chrome extension. We have already registered the Chrome extension, but it still needs review from the Google platform, so it's not still available from the Google Store. And well, some future work. We might make some enhancements to the tool to detect claims from other sources, and add some capability to verify media posts, and fine-tune also the generate endpoint with more data to get better results. And well, that's it for our part. Thank you very much. I think so. The idea for the project was to allow users to automate uh, the detection of false or fake claims in news articles that people are reading. So the idea is that we will have a Chrome. Well, we developed a Google Chrome extension, uh, where once you open or the user opens a news article, you can click on the verify button, and that will send a call to our backend, which we deployed in the Google App Engine, and that will call a couple of Cohere services. The first one is the generate service, which will take the text of the news, and it will generate which is the main claim that the author is making about the news. And then with this claim, we will generate an embedding with the embed endpoint, and we will take this embedding and we will compare it to an embedding store that we built, scraping claims that have already been tagged as fake or not fake by some fact checker websites. And then if we find if there's a match between the claim that the user wants to search for and the claims that the fact checker has already tagged, we return that to the user in the Chrome extension so that they can know if there are fake claims in the news, and then be a little bit careful on whether believing or not the news, and avoid sharing or spreading disinformation on websites or WhatsApp or other social networks. And yeah, I think that's kind of like the main idea of this Chrome extension, which you can try it right now. It's already published in the Chrome store. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Maybe your team member can also add something, or
There is nothing I will add, but I will answer if there are any questions.
okay. So I think we can jump to the questions. And it's like super nice. In this big and great ocean of information, kind of have this filter, at least for news. So yeah, Sandra, Matthias, Paul, feel free to ask questions.
Okay, doke. So I'll go first again. I definitely agree that it's super nice to have this filter. Everyone needs it these days. It should be like embedded on all social platforms and all news platforms, etc. I think it's like super good idea to have it and very needed. Thank you so much for coming up with it and starting working towards it. I have a tricky question though, because working with the language models, we tend to see that they so-called hallucinate, so they make up information as they go, and it's really tricky research problem at the moment actually to have them grounded in facts, have them grounded in a reality that exists and represents like certain version of the story. So my question is, what kind of magic tricks do you do to actually use large language models as a fact checker and as a filter? This is something that's mind-blowing and probably really good to understand. So yeah, that's my question.
Okay, I could answer that. So for the generate, we use the generating point for that, and we fine-tuned it with our data. So basically, we used it to detect the claim. So there will be a news article, and we have prepared a data set with a news article and a claim that a news article is making. So we fine-tuned it with the time that we had. We fine-tuned it about with 32 examples. So basically, what we did was not to tell us if the news is fake or real, but to tell us the claim from the article. And we go to the fact checkers website. I mean, we do have also a semantic search engine, and we will search it on that if that claim is already checked, and we will retrieve the result of that claim. So we used it to detect the claim.
Gotcha. That makes so much sense and is such a smart idea. I love that. Thank you so much for explaining that to me.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that you already put it into a Chrome plugin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that sounds like an awesome way to promote and distribute. So can anybody now download off the Chrome store?
Yeah, sure. I can share the link in the Discord
Okay,
channel,
great.
maybe.
So I think that's great. Let's share the link, and we'll also share it on Twitch and everywhere else. Yeah, so people can actually enjoy this. And I'm looking forward very much to using it. So tell me, like, who do you envision as the potential net payer? Like, do you see this as just growing for free, just give it away and do good for humanity? Or do you see some like news agencies or government agencies to actually start to kind of mandate people to have it installed? So, like, when they browse information, they don't kind of browse information that is unreal. What do you think?
Basically, okay, I could. Basically, we were doing similar project with for an NGO. So basically, we don't want people to pay for having a verified news. So we want to make it free, and we basically need some support for that. But for the news verification organizations, I think we can prepare like a they could use the semantic search, because whenever any news comes, they will not have to re-verify it. If they have already verified, they could check it on their database. So we can customize it for the specific news fact checker organization. But for the end users, we are planning it to provide it for free.
Because like what I see is there's some institutions, let's say libraries, that have massive amounts of computers, and there's education computers like Chromebooks specifically, right? And I think there could be a big net benefit for students in university and high school, even in primary school, to know whether the information that they are reading online, especially younger people, whether that information is factually correct or not. Yeah. And I think that's a super important thing right now moving forward as society. And one of the reasons, for example, Elon Musk bought Twitter, right, is to check whether to allow information to be honest. And I think you're doing a very good thing here. So I would strongly consider kind of pushing it towards some environment that benefits more than others from having factually correct information. Like maybe, somebody that isn't interested in the real data, real news, they don't want it. But kids and young adults, they should only get like real information. We shouldn't feed them all of this untruthful stuff. So I really like it, and I would really want you to kind of consider different avenues.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Team Thanksgiver. And we are going to the last one, fifth team, which is called Anomalies Detected, and the project named Health EA Assistant.
Hello everyone. So I'm presenting you today our idea, which is Healthy. It's AI voice receptionist assistant for hospitals. What is it? Well, we're using Cohere to fill in hospital intake forms for patients through like a natural conversation, while also at the same time booking appointments with their corresponding doctors while answering their inquiries and questions. Why? Hospitals have to be able to provide care extremely efficiently, and according to The Economist, the number one step in improving hospital efficiency is to remove paperwork. Doctor can end up spending twice as much time with their paperwork than with their patients. The problem is filing medical and hospital forms takes too long and can be inconvenient. Queue lines for information and reception desks can get quite long. Doctors end up with a huge amount of paperwork to sort through and manually input. So for this project, as you might have guessed, our customer segments are hospitals, and we're using B2B direct sales to contact those hospitals in particular. That's to be our main channel of communication with our customers. So we have three main revenue streams. I would like to talk about like a we will require an upfront system setup cost of obviously just to store all the data the AI will be generating. Ideally, each hospital would like to store its data locally at their own servers, so they'll be hosting those servers at their facility. So they will definitely require some setup fees and some setup, so that will require some fees. At the same time, we were thinking about having a yearly maintenance cost for these servers to be able to make sure they're up and running optimally. That's for that segment of the revenue streams. And in order to keep our operation running smoothly, we must have like a monthly subscription fee, where we made sure like just to be able to make sure we paying the Cohere services and we're having our operation up and running effectively. I will leave you with Augusto now to walk you through our product and explain a little bit more.
Thank you, Mustafa, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Augusto, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through a demo to understand how Healthy works in the background. To do so, let's go. We'll direct to our app, which is deployed in the cloud using Streamlit. As you can see here, we'll refresh this page, and the main page that you will be taken to is the home page, which contains some introductory information about the product, how to use the chatbot, how it has been designed, and what were our thoughts when designing it. The second page takes us to the actual bot with whom we can interact. I'm going to tell Healthy that I just cut my finger with paper. And Healthy is going to recognize some relevant information that we can use to fill out a form or notify a doctor or collect this relevant information about the state of the patient. Now I'm going to tell him that I just cut my finger with a chainsaw. This is a special example that I find fascinating because I want you to note the change in urgency level. With my It went from 1 to 5, which suggests that it's understanding that a chainsaw cut is much more severe than a paper cut, which is really fascinating. The sensitivity of this architecture opens opportunities beyond the industry of healthcare and goes beyond into academia and research and other applications in developing nations, as we will mention. So now we have a full history of everything that has happened in the chat, all the information that we provided or collected, and we can use this as a JSON file in the background to fill out a form. Finally, when the user is ready to book an appointment, they can see the available spot for the doctor, which can be accessed by an internal source. Book an appointment. Yay! Thank you, Healthy. Back to our presentation. So in the background, it's a hybrid architecture that is powered both by Conversant and grounded QA models by Cohere, and the data is saved anonymously during the session of the state and is continuously generating logs that provide useful feedback and potential training data in the future. We hope to decrease patient waiting time, help healthcare become more efficient and more cost-effective, more available to everyone, and hopefully this technology can be expanded to other industries and research, academia, for example, teaching financial literacy to kids in developing countries. We believe that the potential of this technology is truly amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Our project briefly is an AI voice receptionist assistant for hospitals. Mainly, we're using AI or Cohere AI to fill in hospital intake forms for patients. So they'll be able to like natural conversation with patients fill out their forms that they have to fill in the hospitals, essentially. And at the same time, you're able to like book appointments with their corresponding doctors depending on their answers. If that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, that was pretty great. So guys, I think you've answered this project. Like Matthias, Sandra, do you have something you would like to ask? Or maybe Pavel?
Okay, so I'm going first again.
Again.
Sorry, Pavel. I love your project. I think it's a really great idea in terms of increasing the efficiency of providing health and making sure that the query or the patient goes to the right place and gets the right type of advice and support. So really love that. My question is what would be your next steps in terms of introducing that to actual hospitals, to actual patients? How would you go about developing such a partnership?
Can you repeat the question again? Because I couldn't hear, the connection were bad.
Sure. So my question is, I'm not sure if you continue to work on this project after the hackathon. Do you plan to continue working on it?
Yeah, definitely would like to continue improving it if that's opportunity comes arise to improve it. Absolutely.
Awesome. So I thought so, and I think you should continue working on it because it's a great project. But the follow-up question to that would be, what would be your next steps in terms of developing some sort of partnership with a hospital or medical facility where you could actually deploy it and start testing it in practice? How would you go about that?
Well, definitely need to figure out a way, ideally we want it to be like a voice interface. So we figure out a way of transforming this like text to, image to like a voice to a voice to speech and a voice to text kind of thing. So like to be able to make the AI work and the model work, if that makes sense. At the same time, would like to figure out definitely the positioning of it inside of the hospital, how it will be like, whether it's like outside and like when patients are coming in, is it the first thing they meet and greet, and to be able to like quickly figure out what doctor do they need to book appointments with, what they're having for.
I think you had some problems with connection, so maybe last
Yeah,
three
I have some
sentences
connection
you can
issues.
just repeat.
Yeah.
If you can. Thanks.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now? Everything's good? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I was mentioning it just the next steps is figuring out like a way of the people to be able to interact with Healthy or like with AI initially, as we want it to be like a voice recognition kind of thing, where like you kind of talk naturally to like a device or like a person, or as if you're talking to a person, and like he kind of automatically figures out what your level of urgency for healthcare is and whatnot, if that makes sense. At the same time, if ideally you'd be able to book appointments with corresponding doctors really quickly and really fast, that'd be really helpful. I don't know if you're hearing me or not. I'm having some connection issues.
Yeah, we can hear you. Makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Sounds like you have an exciting roadmap ahead of you in terms of the development of the solutions. So yeah, keeping my fingers crossed for you. And once again, thanks so much for taking part in it and building awesome project.
Thank you. That's really great.
So the process, I think, is called triage. Yeah, because what you are doing is you are effectively selecting the prioritization of patients, right? So you prioritize patients based on initial symptoms, behavior, description, right? So the process is called triage medically. And it's actually a very, very big issue on a global scale, because what you are addressing, the problem that you are solving, in my opinion, I would like your take, is that there's not enough qualified nurses that can triage, and there is not enough qualified doctors that can triage. Yeah. So the ratio of patient to doctor is drastically underserved, and therefore there's a market for kind of prioritizing or queuing patients. So is this kind of exactly what you want to do, or is there more, or is it something different?
Well, that's kind of exactly one of the main problems that we're having right now. Is there's a lot less nurses available and a lot less healthcare staff available to be able to aid in this kind of stuff. Especially like in developing countries and others, where like the staff isn't usually being paid as much, and there isn't normally like much of them available to help people. So ideally, if we're able to fast track this operation of like form taking and at the same time like just figuring out what's wrong with the patient and just in a quicker and efficient way. That would help a lot of people. It's one of the main problems that's being addressed right now in healthcare, and they're actually relying on AI to be able to help this.
And how did you come up with this specific problem to solve? I see Augusto wanting to say something.
Yeah, yeah.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted,
Okay, that's all right.
No, it's good. Sorry, I was having some technical issues here. So the idea came through a brainstorming session. We have family members that work in healthcare, and I'm from Argentina, and Mustafa here is from Egypt. So we saw the need. We didn't see it, but we lived the need for a better healthcare, a more efficient healthcare that is not so reliant on bureaucratic paperwork. And we saw a really good opportunity for AI and Cohere's models, large language models, to help with this issue. So what we did was create a custom persona using the Conversant sandbox, and then power that with a hybrid architecture with the grounded QA bot, so that we can increase the efficiency of collecting data that is subjective, which tends to be very hard to deal with because you need the person to tell you how he's feeling. But now with AI and the evolution of NLP, we can start depending a little bit more on using computers to understand what the patient is feeling given a text description. And that's the opportunity that we saw. And we think that if we can connect, if we can partner with hospitals in this case, this can help nurses reduce the amount of paperwork they have to go through in a day. And they can focus on tasks that need that human component, like doctors with higher skills, and start helping automate the busy part of healthcare business.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about how did you manage around the prompts? Like how hard, or maybe not how hard, but what specifically were parameters like that you use to make certain, because it looks like it follows a tree of kind of decisions and to book you an appointment, right? So I'm wondering what is the structure of the prompts there?
So it starts with a regular query, and the first thing that it checks is if it's a description, which means that the person is trying to tell you something, or if it's a question. So there's a difference, and that triggers either the conversant or the QA bot, because the conversant is not going to give you any information for now on this beta step, but the QA bot can. So that's how they work in synchrony together. And the prompt engineering was mainly focused on of what kind of information can we extract that is going to be helpful for a patient, for a doctor or a nurse trying to book an appointment in advance. And the key points that we thought were important for this first version were where is the injury, or what the injury area. So if the person is saying something, I think in the demo we go over an example where we say, oh, I just cut my finger with a paper. So it will recognize you cut your finger and you cut it with a paper. It's not that urgent. So maybe you just need a general doctor. So right now, the way our very beta version works is just going to output that message, that information, which is just a JSON file in the backend in the chat. But that is going to be used to fill out a form. That is not the information the patient is going to see. The patient is going to enjoy a much more natural conversation, and the bot is going to try to get more information too, if needed.
Okay, so the model from Cohere will determine whether I cut my finger with a paper or I cut my finger with a knife is different.
Right. It recognizes the area, the object, or the cause, which I think that's the interesting part, because we found that it was very sensitive to to special kinds of objects. It recognized the difference between a paper cut and a chainsaw cut, which is much more urgent. And the urgency level was there. So with the paper cut, we saw it returned at urgency level 1, which is, we don't need to move anyone in our schedule today to take care of you. But if it's an urgency 5, then you need help right now. So that urgency 5 will trigger an alert, and the nurse will be able to schedule an appointment faster for now, because they know it's something that needs to be taken care of rapidly.
I played around with the demo, and I think it's what you did really well is you put the explanation behind the AI decision in a very visible way. So I think that's in any kind of field, a lot of people, and I'm wondering Matthias' take on this, like you put some information in, there's an output, right? Or Sandra, and you kind of don't know what happened, right? You don't know how the decision was made, like how, to your point, Sandra, before, how coherent, how off-road did the AI go, right? And the guys here, what I really like, presented the answer, and they also showed the explanation. So the urgency level, what was the decision, how was the decision made, what was the cause of the injury, and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of where AI needs to go a little bit in especially healthcare situations, right? Because it has to be super transparent why certain answers were given.
Yeah, we try to emphasize the explainability side of the AI architecture. Since the Cohere makes it really easy to implement it, we wanted to actually make it practical for someone that's probably not going to know anything about AI. The nurse is not going to know how this works, but we want them to be able to understand how and why it's making the decisions, because ultimately they have to make the last call. At least for now, that's how AI is working in the state of the art. They need some sort of human help to make a right decision with accuracy.
Yes.
It was really nice presentations, and thanks for your answers. And we wish you really luck for that. And yeah, I think right now we can have a little break, and after that, announce the winners after 5 minutes break or something like that. So thanks again, Team Animal is detected. You have such a cool name, by the way. And yeah, wish you luck with your project because it sounds like really it has a big potential. And yeah, so see you guys in 5 minutes. Okay, so welcome back. It's 5 minutes, went super fast. So I'm super happy to announce the winners who are actually with us on this Open Voice channel. And welcome, guys, everyone. And again, super thank you to you all who participated in this crazy 48 hours challenge and you built such a great and amazing project. So, yeah, I think we are ready to announce our three winners. And top first place win not just a credit but also cash prize. I think you all know all of these details. But yeah, I think I'm ready to announce the third place, which is the third place is going to Verify from Team Thanksgivers. So congratulations, guys. As you already kind of launched this up, it's so cool. And third place is yours.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
congratulations.
please share the link to the app somewhere so we can post it on the stream as well for people and share it. So that would be really cool if you send it somewhere, please. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
sure we can share it on our platforms. Yeah, now we can go to second place. And this one is going to Health E-Assistant by Anomalies Detected. Do we have someone for this TV? Yes. Oh,
Yes.
congratulations, guys.
So we really liked using a very advanced setup. Yeah, you tackled a very difficult problem, so it takes a lot of time and effort in the future to get it to work perfectly. Yes, and we really like the transparency of the AI decisions. So these are something that is super important.
Yeah, sure. And as this is kind of project with perspective, as everyone, you can of course be sure that after lights go down, after project ends, you can just continue working and go further. By the way, on our YouTube channel, we have video about that from previous hackathons, so feel free to check it out. And the first place, and a lot of praises and just a big thank you is going to Team Taldera, which is summarizer for Discord and Slack. So, guys, congratulations! You're the winner of Cohere Thanksgiving Hackathon. So, welcome on stage, and yeah, feel free to share everything you feel, everything you want to share.
Thank you. It's kind of brief, but yeah, thanks. This was a fun experience.
So who did you work with on this?
I worked with two of my friends, Forrest and Alex. We all go to the same university.
Okay, where do you guys go to university, if I may ask?
Called Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, how did you decide on this specific hackathon?
I've been interested in AI for a while. I did a couple hackathons, and like at my school, I'm the president of the AI club. So naturally, I figured that going to an AI hackathon would be nice. And I didn't discover LabLab until like a month ago.
Okay, and so how was the experience using both Cohere models and the experience on LabLab?
It was nice. I think the model performed far better than I expected, which was nice. When it came to using the API, it was pretty straightforward to just plug it into our system. So everything went by smoothly.
Perfect. And how was everything on during the event? Like, would you recommend joining the next Cohere hackathon, which is happening just in a few weeks right now?
The one like the generative AI one.
Yeah, the generative AI is happening right now on Friday, and then we have I think one more coming up very soon. But the one that's coming up on Friday, like, what would you say to people that want to join the next hackathon? How would you engage them, or how would you say why should they join from your perspective?
I mean, first of all, I'd say definitely join it. I think the main reason is that with a lot of these tools, I think you can learn very rapidly about the sorts of applications that they have, right? Like I went into this knowing pretty much nothing about Cohere. I had a bit of NLP knowledge. I did some research in it, but when it came to using the API, just was very unfamiliar. So I think you can learn a lot just in a short time span. And generally, that's what hackathons remind us, right? It's like we can build a product very quickly, like much faster than. I mean, I would have thought this would have taken like a week to do if I did it normally, but doing it in one continuous session, I think you can learn very quickly, and that would be my reason for joining the next hackathon.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And what I can say, I think we would definitely love that you invite everybody in the AI Society to join us on Friday. Yeah. So do that, please. Go to the next Generative AI Hackathon, select the link, let everybody win some great prizes and great cash prizes as well, and learn, more importantly. It was really a pleasure to see everybody here today. Sandra, would you like to say something as well around from Cohere?
Of course. Final words from Cohere. We loved your creativity as always. You guys are so innovative within such a short span of time. It's always incredible to see what one can build within just a couple of hours and a few coffees, I guess, along the way. So thank you so much for coming. Thanks for trying out Cohere. I hope you had a great time building stuff, and keep in touch with us because we keep building our API as well, and we want to hear from you, and we want to make sure that you have a good experience with it moving forward. Oh, and thank you, Labla, for organizing the hackathon. You were great.
Thanks, Sandra. It was a pleasure as always. Thank you, everybody. And let's stay in touch. Please make sure to sign up for the Generative AI Hackathon. Join hundreds of people that will be building together from Friday to Sunday this week, starting in the afternoon. Go in and sign up for the next hackathon. We have great experiences waiting for you. Thank you very much, everybody.